In today's episode, I'm exploring the awe-inspiring and mysterious Neolithic sites on the mainland of the Orkney Isles.
Good morning everybody, welcome to another dramatic day. It is the first day of our adventure here in Orkney and we are properly exploring the island today, seeing some of the amazing Neolithic sites. We've just had the most amazing breakfast in our B&B here in Kirkwall, the capital of Orkney, and we're about to get on the Rabbie's bus and hit the road, go for a road trip around these gorgeous islands. And it's pretty warm today guys, there's a heat wave throughout most of the UK. I think it's due to get up to like the mid-20s or something, which is quite crazy considering how far north we actually are. Anyway, time to hit the road. Alright, we've made it. First stop today. These are the standing stones of Stenness. They're absolutely giant and I'm so excited to be here to show you guys one of these most world famous sites. They're absolutely enormous. Let's get a closer look. That's unbelievable. That one there is even higher. That is so incredibly high, it's unbelievable, look at it. So this used to be actually a circle of standing stones, but there are only 4 or 5 of them up now.
If you stand here and look through the gap where the 2 stones have always been and tell me what you see. MaesHowe. MaesHowe is directly aligned through the gaps of the tomb.
MaesHowe is an incredible structure connected to these standing stones, and we'll be visiting it at the end of the day, so make sure you hang around to see that.
We are so incredibly lucky today because it might be the only day of the year where you can do this. You can be out in a t-shirt in Orkney and actually enjoy this breeze. It's a warm breeze coming our way, which is, let me tell you, for anywhere in Scotland, highly unusual, but this far north is incredible. Like I said, there is a heat wave in Europe today and we are just enjoying the benefits of it here in Orkney. Plus 20 degrees with a nice t-shirt on, nice breeze in the face. It's absolutely perfect. What a day to be exploring this marvellous landscape, this very unique place. Oh, I'm so excited. We're just going off to see the settlement, which is close to the stones of Stenness now. What are you thinking, Taka? Are you excited by all these Neolithic sites?
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's something eerie and truly mystical about these standing stones, and wondering how they would have been put in place by the people of the time is mind-boggling. Just a few metres from Stenness is another spectacular set of standing stones called Brodgar, and between them is a new site that's currently being excavated by professional archaeologists and students, which they're calling the Ness of Brodgar. Dating to the year 3000 BC and discovered in 2002, the site has already revealed some phenomenal structures and other finds that are helping experts to piece together the puzzle of these early settlers on Orkney. The site even includes what they believe to be a temple.
Alright, so we've arrived at a place called the Ring of Brodgar, which is one of the most famous, most spectacular standing stone circles anywhere in the world. I think it's the third largest in the UK, and highly significant for the people who made them of the Neolithic age. It's just fascinating trying to learn and think about what they were used for. There's obviously loads of different theories, but now we just have to kind of use our imagination really and stand in awe of these amazing structures. The Ring of Brodgar, one of the most famous sites in Orkney, and obviously very busy. There's a lot of people here today checking out this site.
If Stenness seems eerie, then there's something absolutely otherworldly about the Ring of Brodgar. We may never truly understand their purpose, and I think that's part of the wonder of visiting these sites. Were they astronomical in purpose, or simply ceremonial? There are theories for both.
This is honestly one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen, and on a day like this, we're just so lucky. Look at it. The Ring of Brodgar. It's obviously quite far away from where most people in Scotland live, right? We're a good, 6 or 7 hours from Edinburgh, unless you fly, of course. And so here's the thing, right? I would recommend everybody in Scotland, every Scottish person, if you've never been to Orkney, you guys need to come here. What are you doing? Look at this place. It's just a wonder. An absolute marvel that we have right here in our lands. It's gorgeous. And so fascinating to think about the history of this place, what it's all about. I'm kind of feel a bit breathless by seeing such an absolutely fantastic place. Now I know, right, I am a little bit biased in these matters, okay? Well, I'm about to tell you, I'm definitely biased. However, if you include the stones that we already saw today that you can actually go up and touch, and the Ring of Brodgar that we just saw here, these spectacular sites, there is literally no comparison with Stonehenge compared to these amazing sites in Orkney. I've been to Stonehenge before, it was alright, but these sites here are just absolutely sensational.
From Brodgar, we took the short drive over to the coast and one of Orkney's best known Neolithic sites.
And now we are at the Piste de Resistance, you could say, of Orkney. One of the most famous sites here on the islands. One of the most famous tourist attractions in Scotland, in the UK, maybe even in the world. It's certainly worldwide renowned. Skara Brae. This is the Neolithic village which dates back some 5,000 years. Many centuries before even the pyramids of Egypt were constructed. It's a fascinating place. And just like looking at the standing stones of Brodgar and wondering about these people, this place we're going to see now, Skara Brae, is the actual village where people lived. And it's a site that was discovered something like 100 years ago only because of a wild storm. And as we walk down this path towards Skara Brae, we've been going through the timeline of history of events, starting at modern times, landing on the moon, American independence, and we've come all the way down now. Now we're at the stone there that says birth of Christ. And we're still thousands of years ahead of Skara Brae, which is some 3,500 years before the birth of Christ even. So I'm fascinated to go there, see the stones for myself and take a walk through. What a privilege to be here on a day like this. The Orkney Islands is amazing. And guess what, guys? There is a sensationally stunning beach right down here as well at Skara Brae. Kinda wish I'd brought my swimming shorts now. Look at that.
Skara Brae is the most complete Neolithic settlement in all of Europe. It is designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids, and is known as the Scottish Pompeii. Being so close to the ocean, it's thought that the saltiness of the sand dunes has helped to preserve the site so well. The site dates from the same period as the sites at Brodgar and Stenness, with evidence that the village was inhabited for around 600 years before people abandoned it due to climate change.
And this is a site, Skara Brae, the series of houses that they discovered in the 1850s after a serious storm here in the area. And this area is in a really fragile state, partly because of coastal erosion, but also erosion from many people visiting this site over the years. So you have to stick to the paths now, but you can get a really great idea of these houses and how they were. It's an absolutely fascinating place. We're going to walk around, speak to the guides and see if we can take some photos around about and stick to the path obviously. But yeah, it's just an incredible place.
This recreation of how the houses may have looked is truly fascinating, with bizarre pieces found in the area also displayed in the museum.
Alright, so now we have arrived in Orkney's second biggest town. This is Stromness. And we're going to go for a bit of a walk through here, show you around. It's a lovely little port. Check out and see what the sights are. There actually seems to be some kind of festival or something on today. So one thing about Orkney, it's very famous here for pastures and dairy products in general. Very good milk here. And one of the most famous and one of the best things you can eat here, I think, in Orkney is the ice cream. Orkney ice cream is delicious, smooth, and I just love it. So many alleyways to explore. Look at this one, it goes all the way down to the beach. The harbour even. So narrow and cool. Check this out. It's probably somebody's garden here, but these buildings, I mean, people live in them now, but probably stood exactly like this for a long time. Wow. I mean, some of these closes just go all the way up the hill there, but it really reminds me of being on holiday in maybe one of the old quaint Italian villages by the seaside. This is very beautiful and a massive surprise. To be honest, I did not expect to see something like this here in Orkney. What a lovely town Stromness is, love it. And some of these alleyways actually lead to the water, so you can come right down. Look at this. These are definitely like old fishing buildings. Still have an old crane here on the end of the pier, which would have been used, I guess, for winching the boats. But this, look at this sitting here. This is so cool. And these old buildings here must have been here, you know, I don't know how many countless hundreds of years, but they're so cute. Stromness has been the surprise of this trip. It is such a beautiful little town. Very impressed. And we're right next to the water here, and it's absolutely beautiful. Another interesting thing you see here a lot in Stromness, many of the buildings have plaques on them for famous, important people who used to live here, who have done amazing things around the world, explorers, all sorts, which is really cool. I kind of think you could walk around Stromness and take like a whole day and explore, and especially today there's a festival on and music and stuff. But you know what, we have got a lot to see in Orkney, a lot more of the Neolithic sites and stuff, so we can't actually stop here, but it's a great little place. Certainly worth taking your time to come here, check out some of the amazing streets and sights and have some ice cream and whatever else. Great wee town. So impressed with Stromness.
You may remember at the start of today's video I mentioned MaesHowe. As I'm about to discover, this place must be firmly on your plans for visiting Orkney.
So that there behind me is MaesHowe. It's another famous, probably the most famous of the Neolithic sites here on Orkney.
This Neolithic tomb is interesting from its own time period standpoint, but I'm even more fascinated in the visitors who broke into the place a few thousand years later to shelter from a storm. The Vikings.
You just have to duck a little bit.
The Viking warriors who broke in here left all kinds of graffiti carved on the walls, and I'm highly fascinated by the translations of what they wrote. I'd recommend you go online and read about these carvings, which will give you a whole new perspective on time periods and changing cultures throughout the ages.
My god, that is a narrow passageway to get in and out of this place, but so worth it. Almost out into the light. It gets narrower and narrower as we come to the door. Whew. Got a sore neck after that.
Perhaps I was too young to appreciate this place when I was here first time, but I can say that on this trip with Rabbies, Orkney has left a lasting impression on me and a heavy appetite to return and spend more time. To book your tour, click on the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next adventure, take care.